I mean, quite unfortunate scenes we are seeing there. I mean, I just don't know what that was about. And I'm trying to know whether the electoral materials have been destroyed, because I saw young men troop into the area. They started causing commotion. In the end, we've seen our reporter assaulted. You just cannot understand what exactly, led to that. And I'm sure we'll get Jackie on the line to help us understand, make sense of exactly what happened there. I want to understand the impact of that on the election process, because the way they came in there causing commotions, I'm sure the electoral officers had to pack and go somewhere. Those who are coming to vote probably may not even have the appetite again to come and vote. What is all this about? I really want to understand that for an election that you're expecting about 6,000 people to vote, and we are subjecting ourselves to this level of commotion. It's just mind-boggling. This is not something we expected to see. Maybe, like Dr. Victor Doka was saying, this could then get the government to change its approach to this particular process. Now, if the military were there, could this have happened? And who really are they? What was their purpose? For an election to just declare or get a process completed in 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North, and young people are doing this, what for? I really want to understand what led to this intrusion and who these people are. No. I'm sure the government is watching. I'm sure the Minister of Defense is watching. I'm sure the IGP is watching. We cannot go this way. This must be stopped. This should not escalate to anywhere else. And for those of you who are in Ablekuma, this is just your civil right to choose a leader. It is not an avenue for you to injure anyone. So please, if you are a youth in Ablekuma and someone comes to you to say, go and do this, don't. But I have Dr. Victor Doka with me on the line. Doc, you are seeing this. You are a security analyst. What do you make of what happened?
Well, first of all, it's very disgraceful, disappointing. I hope your reporter is safe though, and they should take care of all professional measures in trying to send this information. Now, this is exactly what we're talking about: being preemptive and proactive with regards to responding to the situation. Now, if you say you have 100 personnel on the ground, there is a commander over there, and there should be an approach in securing the perimeter, the inner perimeter. Was this done? If so, you would definitely have been able to stop the gentleman, because when you condone or you barricade the outer perimeter, it means everybody coming in from the outer to the inner to the core would have to go through some level of work processes. Voters will go through. So the moment you do that, you definitely would realize that these young men coming in a group like this with helmets on their head, so they won't be identified, with hoodies on, so they won't be identified. There's a purpose for which they are coming. You quickly respond. But yet again, if we are able to equip the police on the ground with at least batons or jack-up, okay? If you're not going to give them weapons, the patrol teams who are there should have enough on them, so that if these things happen, imagine this is the only police station we are experiencing. What about if it happens in five police stations simultaneously? What's going to be the response mechanism? Okay, so there should be a lot of patrolling. The formed police unit should be called in. They should be able to tear this immediately before it gets out of hand. As it stands now, they lost control over them. They couldn't stop these young men. And you saw how some of them were just standing by, because you can't. Okay, so you need what? Assistance. If the government will backtrack and then call the bishop to do
Well, Doc, I'm grateful to you, but let's bring you the. So this our young lady. Oh, look at her eye. I mean, so this, it looks like she was punched in the eye. I mean, this cannot happen. Such a young girl. You probably end her aspiration to be a journalist from this experience. That cannot be the case. Look at her eyes, all red now. I'm really trying to keep myself from using certain words. But a young man cannot look at a young lady like this and decide to assault her for whatever reason, that you are trying to give someone's mother a job. So you have to assault a young sister. Why should that be the case? The way Jacqueline shouted, it presupposes that this young lady was punched in the eye. How many times have we men even punched each other in the eye? How much more a young lady? You punch that young lady in the eye just like that. And this is happening in Ablekuma North. And as I know, Jacqueline has been at the Odoko Methodist police station. So I presume this is where this particular, attack has happened. That this young lady with our social media team has been assaulted this way. But you're still watching the coverage of what's happening in Ablekuma North. The Electoral Commission is having a rerun of 19 police stations. And we are there in all of these 19 police stations to bring you whatever is happening there. But Dr. Victor Doke is still with me. Doc, I mean, is it your call that the military, but how do we even deal with it? You are saying that we should curb this. How do we do it?
Well, curbing means you having a lot of the personnel. And if you say you have 100 per police station, then it means that you are on top of the issue. Okay? Because aside the patrols you have on the ground, 100 each, okay, you are talking about the patrol team also who are equipped, ready for battle, ready for any situation. Now, this is not the case as we're seeing now at the Methodist Church there. Okay? You can count the number of the police personnel there and how they even responded to the situation. In certain situations like this, it's very understandable that you cannot, confront these charged young men who will throw you off. So what do? You also have to preempt this situation and then prepare better. If not, you call someone in who is better prepared. And when the military comes in, sure, trust me, there will be law and order in some of these places. Other than that, I'm afraid what has happened now will be some sort of, a caveat for other young guys to misbehave in certain police stations if they are not satisfied with the situation there. And if this happens, it's not going to be good. Exactly.
This isn't good. Doc, but also earlier in the day, we saw a police officer in a video assaulting a young man, reportedly or alleged to be a journalist. So this adds to that particular assault. Does it tell us anything about how this process will go as the minutes pass by?
Immediately you get to experience or see this kind of incidents, then they should put you on red alert. So red alert means you now revising your approaches. Now, for any security personnel to assault a journalist is very wrong. What went into the incident itself? So if we pick that incident up and then investigate and then know why the police assaulted the journalist, then the police will be taken through the ethics, whatever, and then we go to book. But I don't advise or encourage anybody to, in as much as you are dissatisfied with the process or whatever, assault a human being. That is very wrong. So I think we need to look at the approach with regards to even how personnel will handle journalists or even civilians on the ground there. So it doesn't come out as if, security personnel are deliberately, assaulting people who are mandated to cover or give us information. So going forward, we need a lot of, mechanisms in place, refine situations. How do we, communicate better? So if even the journalist is coaching or going to area he or she shouldn't go, how do we communicate that better for them to understand? This is what we need to do.
All right. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us with your viewpoint here. But the visual you're watching on the screen now is that of our colleague journalist, the young lady who has been assaulted by unknown men. We'll try and get to Jackie to understand who these people, were, those who came there to do this, those who committed this atrocity of slapping a young lady in the eye. No. This should not be happening in this day and age. This should not be happening. That a young lady is assaulted the way she has been because of elections. And this is not even an election for the entire constituency. This is a rerun of 19 polling stations. Yet young men had the effrontery to enter into a polling station to do what they've done to that young lady. No, it must not happen. But we are still there on grounds in Ablekuma North, and we'll be bringing you all that, But Doc, maybe as I still have you, is there a way journalists can really protect ourselves in these instances?
Yeah, right. So I think with regards to election coverage itself, what I know is you guys go through a lot of training, capacity building with regards to not only reporting, but how to even protect yourself in cases like this. Even observers, as we go on the ground, we are even taking through, some level of training with regards to how to protect ourselves in cases like this. Now, if you're a journalist and you're going there, one, look, around the vicinity, the area. It's advisable at least to identify somebody you know in the area that in case of any kind of situation, that person can offer some assistance. It's unfortunate you'll be posted to areas where you don't even know anybody there. The police is your friend. You introduce yourself to the security people there, and then you let them know the purpose for which you are there. In case of these incidents like this. But in the heat of the moment, anything can happen as a date. They rush into her, and then the unfortunate thing happened. It's very difficult for any security person to, easily or come to your aid readily, because they're also trying to salvage the situation and look at how best to carry the incident for it not to escalate. So you are responsible for your own security. Unfortunately, when you are on the ground and reporting, any kind of approach that you take, if it is running, taking shelter somewhere, you do that. But the moment you realize there's a group of young men coming towards you, it's advisable you leave that particular area to a safe place. You can zoom in the camera and record from there. It's advisable to do that. Other than that, you take shelter within some security personnel who can salvage the situation in case of anything. Exactly. But it's advisable that you don't get involved. Just don't get too near to the situation where the chaos is happening. Move away from that place, and then at least this first instance protective mechanisms can save your life.
If you look at the statement the police put out yesterday, they said, in addition to police station security, police will monitor vehicular and pedestrian traffic around the voting areas. Strategic barriers will be mounted to prevent unauthorized access to polling centers. Can we say the police have failed because of what we just saw?
We are using their word against the strategic barriers. What does that mean? And then the others that you were. So that is why, if you remember, I talked about the 3 layers, outer, inner, and the core. So could you imagine we had the barriers on the outer, okay? Whoever coming in, screaming, voting, sure, and going. We would have been able to keep the situation. As it is now, movement of personnel are so much, individuals are so much. You see motorbikes coming in, vehicles coming in. The candidate herself came in there with a entourage, with a vehicle. So there's no barrier with regards to entry of vehicles, which is unfortunate. And that's what we're talking about. motorbikes shouldn't have access some meters to the voting area because of these incidents. Okay? So you realize that before the incident happened, 2 motorbikes parked there and the guys got down and joined the others. So obviously, the mechanism with regards to security is not working. They need to revise it ASAP.
I'm grateful to you, Dr. Victor Doke, for joining us here. He is a security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Let me bring in the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Beauty Emefa Nate. And Beauty would help me look at the suggestion by the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, that some TNT money are being given. Beauty, I'm grateful to you for joining us. What do you, first of all, what's your impression of what you've seen so far from Ablekuma North?
Thank you very much. I'd like to greet your viewers and also say that it is really disheartening because we shouldn't be thinking about buying on such important day where Africa is actually commemorating Africa and Corruption Day. So the significance of this day being marked by allegations of vote buying hearing from the Ablekuma North constituency. And that means, unfortunately, given the continuous education and awareness we continue to raise about issues of vote buying. And it's illegal because if you look at our law, not clearly above vote buying. So why this practice will continue is something that we feel is unfortunate, especially for an important day at African anti-corruption day.
All right. Now, let's go into the issue that Linda Oklu spoke about. I mean, she says what they did is to give TNT to those who are coming to vote. Is that really wrong to help people with transportation to aid their movement to the polling centers to vote?
So the law is so clear in terms of when we talk about vote buying. Vote buying clearly means that anything that you use to induce people directly or indirectly is vote buying. So politicians cannot try to define their own rules and regulations in terms of what the law says. And I don't think that it's proper that we countenance that. Once the law is clear in terms of any form of use, if the party wants to its own people, then that's the different arrangement that the party is doing. If it's that one, we have raised concerns about that because of it is the cost that it adds to the post campaign. So we look at how much put into campaign. It becomes expensive by and with all measures, it's similar in a way that reduce the cost of campaign and help people to have a fair and a competitive playing ground when they start for elections. So if people would use inducements to continue to lure voters, I think that this is something the parties themselves should condemn. And history has even taught us that the electorates are even becoming wiser. If you look at what happened in Asimfosu, where a lot of money was displaced, voters were still able to discern and voted with their conscience and not the inducement. So politicians should come to that realization that the one-off things that they give around voters, close to election or election day, will not necessarily influence people's decision. Because people may have already made up their mind long enough. And the fact that they took something from you doesn't warrant that they are going to vote for you. So we think that especially these big parties in Ghana, the NPP, the NDC, should come to that realization and desist from inducement, so that we'll have people who go out to the polls can go there voting for who they think will better represent them.
I guess this is an issue the OSP should immediately go into, right?
Yeah, in fact, that was something I was going to talk about, because I wanted to say that for a long time, where we haven't seen so much action around the issue of vote buying and vote selling, we saw a lot of impunity. But for the monitoring that we have done over the years, because almost every election, the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition and GRI and the PD make sure that we monitor these issues of vote buying and abuse of confidence. And we've noticed past the years that because there was no thing, people was going, and people were even share a lot of goodies for the left day, it's that around police. But since we saw actions from the
you're making a good point, but your line keeps tripping. I don't know if you can just reposition yourself a bit, and then you make this point for me.
Okay, so please, is it better now?
I think it's better now, yes.
Okay, thank you. So what my point is that when there was no action in terms of ensuring that people who fall foul of the law are punished, there was a lot of display of this vote buying, at polling stations, even on election days. But we've seen that since the Office of the Special Prosecutor started initiating actions against people who violate the law, we've also seen some significant reduction. For instance, our monitoring of the last election, the last December 2024 election, we've seen some reduction in terms of how people come around to display or give votes, even on election day, packaged food and all that to induce. That has reduced, and we believe that it's also because of the important role that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is playing. So we are calling again on the Office of the Special Prosecutor that it's important that some of the issues that are coming, if we can also pick these up and, if possible, prosecute those who have offended the law in a way that it becomes a deterrent. And I believe the more we continue to do that, the less we will see some of these things happening. Yes, and I also want to use this opportunity to encourage the voters that, it's even not, I don't know how to put this, but as a voter, I think it's a disrespect to you for a political party to think that at the last minute they can come and give you money to induce you to vote for them. I believe that is very disrespectful. If the political party wants to serve you, there are lots of things that they can do for your community, but the money that they dish out, will not bring you development in your community. So citizens and people who are discerning should commit to saying no. And I want to use today, as I said, today is the Africa Anti-Corruption Day. Let us all commit to say no to vote buying and vote selling also, because it's a two-way affair.
Okay.
If the votes are not being sold, there wouldn't be a buyer. So if the politicians can also refrain themselves from selling or buying people's votes, I believe that we can bring this issue.
Okay.
But it is my hope that the office of the special prosecutor will make an example of our politicians. Once we have 2, 3, or 4 politicians who are prosecuted on these charges, I believe it will send a good signal to politicians that they cannot continue to disregard our vote buying law.
Okay, I'm grateful to you, Beauty MFA Nate, for joining us here. She is the Executive Secretary of the GII. Let's take you back now to the grounds in Ablekuma North, where there's more happening. Stay with us here on Election Headquarters.
Let's hear from the legal director for the NDC, Eduji Tamaklo, on what has been happening so far.
No, but I'm saying that, my brother, where is Miracle? What will be the basis of the report? My brother Miracle is not here. I am here. I've actually been talking to the police commander here that we can all ensure that there is calm as we speak. And we are not leaving anything to chance. We are interested in ensuring that there's utmost security here to allow the voting to continue. Anybody I have seen here who has any association with NDC, I've stopped them. Let me calm my people down.
Right. And so you heard that Eduji Tamaklo, who was speaking to us, and the supporters of the party. Some youths are pushing the gate now and wanted to have access to the place. This is the Methodist church, one of the polling stations at Odoko, where the clash has been happening between some supporters, gentlemen who drove in here on motorbike, a number of them in helmets, some covering their faces, clashing with each other. They just pushed the gate open. You see them there still pushing, forcing the gate to the polling center to be open for them. It is unclear what they want to get access to the place to do, but you have them in your shots there, still pushing to get access to the place. We are still unclear which party they support yet and why they want to have access to the place. But you see, one of them throws sand. They are throwing sand to the journalists who are on the walls trying to capture the moment. They are throwing sand to them. It is unclear why they are agitated so far, but it's still unclear why they are so agitated amongst themselves. They drove in here on motorbikes, some still in the helmet, and pushing gates to be open. The police are here to, effect any arrest amongst them. No one has been arrested so far. I see that Mustafa Gbande. I will try and see if I can speak to him briefly to know what the challenge is and what the boys want, for which reason they are here. But so far, the police as well as the party leadership are trying to calm situation. Mr. Gbande, are trying to calm situation here as we speak. It's unclear what the agitation. I see there a police FPU van also driving to the place with a police officer sitting on top of it. The vehicle is trying to make its way here. Unclear. I see another police patrol vehicle also coming. Mr. Tamaklo, you were speaking to us. Is it clear what the guys were trying to ask?
I think the guys were saying that they are not comfortable with the presence of Hawa Kumsin here. I pleaded with them that the police have already moved with her through the back door, so she's no longer here. So Basically, that was it.
Wait. Take your time.
Mr. Tamaklo, I just want to find out the boys who are here to demand that she's taken out. Are they your members?
I saw one gentleman talk about pepper spray, and when they talked about the pepper, when they talk about the pepper spray, all that they just said that they are not comfortable with the use of pepper spray here. It's a voting center. I encourage them that the person they have an issue with is no longer here, and so they should leave here and allow the voting to take place. That's all.
I've realized they've listened to you and they have withdrawn. Are they your members?
That I can't confirm immediately. But I've seen my constituency chairman here, but they are not among the people protesting. They want the voting process. Look, as we speak, the Electoral Commission had done a collation of about 262 of the polling station, and that put the NPP candidate with 48 votes ahead. We want 6,000 people to have their say. That will flip the 48 seats, 48
votes.
So that's what we are determined to get. That's the outcome we are looking for. We are for peace. Remember, we are in government, and so the responsibility is on us, and we will do everything to ensure that there's utmost peace here. Yes.
Thank you. And Director of Legals there for the NDC, Godwin Edwige Tamaklo there, giving us updates on what has been transpiring so far. From the indication, he tells us that they have been trying to, the boys who came here to express their grievance have been trying to make sure that Honorable Haba Kumsin, the former MP who was here, leaves the place. It's unclear why they are happy with her presence at the voting center. We do not know, but what they've been saying is that she needs to leave the premises, and that arrangement has been made, as is confirmed to us. Honorable Hawa Kumsim have been taken away from the voting center so far, and calm has relatively been restored. The guys have left the place on their motorbikes. There you have them on the streets trying to leave the place. They've all climbed back to their motorbikes, and they are making their way out of the place. But what Edwige Tamaklo could not confirm to us is whether or not these are supporters of his party. But as far as he's concerned, they have listened to them to calm down, and they are now making their way out of the place. And so that is the genesis of the chaos that we have seen so far here at the Methodist Church polling center here at Odoko, where they have been fighting among themselves in the last few minutes, but relative calm have been restored. We'll try and see if we can speak to any of the leadership or the senior officers of the police here who are making sure that there is calm returning to the place to get an official position on what has been happening so far. And so calm has been restored. The police FPU van which moved in has also moved away and parked at the far end to the polling station. A number of the police officers are draped in their gears on standby to enforce the law, to maintain law and order as we speak. So that's the situation. A number of the youth are currently still moving towards the other side of the polling center. You see the police van, FPU, police bus, having some number of police officers in there also on standby. The youth have been moving on the street back and forth. It's still unclear what they want as far as the process is concerned.